Okay, yeah, you're on now.
It's a comedy of errors. All right, good evening, everybody. Break on through March 4th, 2025.
Here I is, here I am. Yeah, we just got done eating dinner, so we're a little behind. I know some of you may be very offended. We don't care. Because we're punk rock. No, we're not. We're not punk rock anymore.
We filed for divorce.
Yeah, we filed for divorce from punk rock. Because punk rock is now all about standing with the Boy Scouts. Isn't that what that blue and yellow is all about?
The Person Scouts.
Yeah, persons. All right, there he is.
Punk rock is now all about
goodness.
standing with the boy.
Okay. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna have it together here in just a minute, maybe. Oh boy. Boing. One more time with a good old fashioned. There we are.
Now all about just a minute.
All right. Man, we're nice and blurry. I like it. Are we blurry?
Yeah, I kind of like the 70s porn. soft
focus.
Yeah, the soft lens.
All right, if this thing will catch up, I can tell if we got us better centered on here. Nope. I don't know what we got here. All right, there we go. Now we're good. All right. So as I was saying, here I'm you see my special guest, the one and only Hattiesburg Buzzsaw. The one and only Walter Wilhelm Wellington W. Wheat. It's great to have you here, man.
Great to be here. Always great to be here.
He's here because tomorrow night we will be in rehearsals for this 3-show run. And man, we've got some surprises lined up all along the way. Let's see, there's my sister. Heather Wheat is here live. Let's see who else we got. I missed everybody. Greg Crawford. Alan, I need to talk to you for a second, man. You ordered some song lyrics. And I have written you several emails letting you know you didn't tell me which song you want. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If people just order song lyrics and don't tell me what song they want, everybody gets constant nagging. That'd be the easiest $30 I ever made in my life. I can do this for you now if you'd like. You come into my house.
Got a stack of paper.
You don't shut your mouth. You ain't got nothing to say. Talk all fucking day. I can't take it no more. I'm banging my head on the floor. Please stop. Thank you. Actually, that might be too long. We got a shorter song?
Is thank you actually, is that part of the lyrics?
Mm-hmm. So let me know, Alan. Don't do it here because I won't be able to. I mean, I guess I can, but said he wants stubborn as a mule. Oh, you want an epic one? Oh, good. I just went from the shortest song to one of the longest with Barry Hannibal 750-word lyrics. Okay.
Just send him one of the Cliff's notes, like the cheat
sheets. Yeah. Weedy Walt Straw.
I am the devil's fucking stepdad.
Weedy Walt Straw. I love it. All right. Well, what do you talk to Walt Wheat about when you have him here on Break On Through? I'm going to tell you the first thing you talk about is news we got lined up for you. And,
Last week.
that is. But this still pertains to tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Here we are, the week of this run of shows. We've been talking about it for months, and here we are. We're Tuesday night right here. 2 nights from now, Thursday night, down in good old Piedmont, South Carolina. Live at Tribbles. Antiseen. Blue Ridge Death Cult. Man, I always get mixed up with groups that have 4 words in their name. I have to think about it for a minute.
Yeah. And then there's also the Blue Mountains, and so it gets confusing. Is it Blue Ridge Death Cult?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And Hembrae.
Yeah.
There's another group playing too. And man, for the life of me, I didn't write their name down on here. But I listened to them and I thought they were pretty good. They're like, sound like the kind of punk rock we used to listen to like in the 80s. American, you know, not the hardcore, but you know, it's good. I like it.
I hadn't seen a flyer with that band name. As far as I knew up to right now, there's only 2 bands.
No, there's 3.
Okay, good.
Friday night. Friday night's where it's happening. If you don't know about Friday night, then you have not been using this useless platform of social media to its fullest degree. Because on Friday night, we will be in the great city of Atlanta. We're talking about Bass Street, USA. We'll be there with Atlanta's very own Big Foot, along with a pair of the biggest feet that ever walked through Atlanta. No one can fill those shoes. We're talking about Abdullah the Butcher, the king of hardcore wrestling. There was no hardcore wrestling before Abdullah the Butcher.
The innovator. You know, then Tommy Dreamer comes along and calls himself
The innovator of violence? Okay, whatever. Whatever, cheesesteak. So Abdullah the Butcher is going to be there at the Star Bar the duration of the entire show. Posing for pictures, selling pictures. I don't know what else he's got for sale. Probably a lot of stuff. He has a pretty... He kind of goes with the George South, Jeff Clayton way of setting up a table of stuff to, you know, trinkets to buy on the way out the door. So it's going to be a lot. I imagine you're going to see some Antiseen boys up there buying some stuff, getting our picture taken.
Absolutely. I felt kind of guilty last time having them sign stuff for me. Like, I know he usually gets paid for this.
I tried to pay them.
Did you?
And they wouldn't take it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I don't feel as guilty, I guess.
And then Saturday night. I'm not done talking about Friday night. Friday night, we will be debuting a brand new version of the song Dear Abby that we wrote for Abdullah the Butcher. Hey, just may not be doing a new song of an old song. Well, because we're going to play it at a tempo where you and Abdullah and everybody else can actually hear and understand what we are saying. Yeah, I don't like the fast version where I can't understand. Well, we're going to be playing that one too. We're going to play them both. We are the masters of playing 2 versions of one song on the same night. No one's better at that than us. So, 2 versions of Dear Abby. Right there in the Star Bar. And then on Saturday night's all right for fighting, but it's also all right to go down to Fairhope, Alabama, where you will see not only the world's greatest rockin' teenage combo, Antiseen, you will also see country music sensation Kelsey Ray Copeland, along with the rockin' hoppin' sounds of Mobile, Alabama's favorite sons and daughters, Future Hate. It's all going to be happening right there live. One cover charge gets you in for all that good stuff. It's almost like you can't believe it. Erica says this is an old song with a new arrangement. See, that's proof that we are the kings of doing an old song with a new arrangement. And we're gonna go back, Jack, do it again in Atlanta. Friday. Saturday, Fairhope, Alabama at Johnny Mac's. Man, I have just laid out your entire weekend. Why don't you come to Piedmont, Atlanta, Fairhope? Because that's where we're going to be. And where we are, that's where it's happening. And some bands, they play every nook and cranny. They play every single town. Every single town in the world. And, you know, you just go, I'll just wait and go see them next time they come through. Well, you know, you can't do that with Antiseen. You can't do that. I know you're thinking, well, dang, I can't make none of them in March. Well, you know what? I'm about to hit you with something you ain't never going to believe. I got April lined up for you. I know the three show Thunder Kick Extravaganza. I'm talking April 17th. That's a Thursday night. We'll be at West Side Bowl in Youngstown, Ohio. On the 18th, we'll be at Dunlap's in the rock and roll town of Cleveland, Ohio. And on the 19th, oh, I forgot to tell y'all, from Cleveland to Medford, New Jersey is an 8-hour drive.
So this will be starting as soon as we get done packing.
Yeah. But, yeah, on April the 19th, Amy Nicoletto of Order of the Sacred Crow Tattoo is promoting a show of Antiseen in Medford, New Jersey. Oh, who else playing with you? Antiseen. No opener. Just the boys from Brutalsville, the Battle Ambassadors, the Great Disasters. They're going to be there in Medford. And because it's just us, and because it's been so long since we've been to the great state of New Jersey, you best believe we're gonna whip tunes out like Chinese throwing stars. Like you ain't gonna know what's coming because we're gonna be slinging them at you so quick and fast. You good gosh, I ain't heard that one in 150. But that's where it's gonna be. Now, when you're doing Break On Through, and you got the Hattiesburg Buzzsaw sitting beside you, what do you talk about?
Actually, I think Clinton Zilla insisted that it be the Hattiesburg Hacksaw.
Hattiesburg Hacksaw?
Even though it doesn't make noise.
A hacksaw won't make no, Clinton. A hacksaw won't make any noise. Clinton, be ready with some links. And maybe do a video comparison of a buzzsaw and a
versus
a hacksaw. A hacksaw requires physical movement in order to make sound.
How about the Mississippi miter saw? Because Joe's the buzzsaw. Joe knows the buzzsaw.
I called you a hacksaw. What did I call you? Buzzsaw.
You said buzzsaw.
Well, it ain't going to be a hacksaw. That's what you use to get out of prison. But you know what you talk to when you got what the hell are we calling you?
I think we're going to go with the Mississippi miter saw.
The Mississippi miter saw.
Yeah, there's electric miter saws.
The Mississippi miter saw. Walt Wheat. Walter W. Esquire Wheat. We're going to talk about what happens when you step into a position that is already so ingrained in the history of the aforementioned band that you join. What do you do? Because Before I Hang does not possess that sound. Tell us a little bit about what you were put through, what I put you through, what you put yourself through, and your whole mindset. Once you joined Antiseen, you not only were you filling the shoes of Joe Young, you're also filling the vacated shoes of Mad Brother Ward, who, bless his heart, was trying to make his own sound within the Antiseen sound. I think you do that too, to an extent. But you know what? Let's not hear the singer talk. All I do is listen and complain. You're the one that has to stir the pot.
That has to put the pieces together.
So tell the crowd, tell the people that are sitting around the table with their feet kicked up, ready for a good day of working class feats tomorrow. Tell them how you came upon this. Tell them the process. Take the floor, Walt Wheat.
So when you think of Antiseen, what is it that you think of? Tonal qualities. You think of your enigmatic vocal style, first and foremost. The second thing is, that we talked about already, the buzzsaw tone. With those two elements, that is Antiseen. You can hear Antiseen from anywhere and immediately know that's Antiseen.
And the drumming and bass stylings and sounds have changed continuously throughout our history. But you're right. Anything we've done, no matter who was playing and at what time.
Yeah, nothing on Barry or Malcolm or any of the other guys that filled those roles. Bass and drums is what it is. You're going to be a lot more reliant on that individual style, playing style. Not so much tone. I mean, bass has distortion. Drums don't have tone. They're either in tune or they're not in tune.
Yeah.
So to get that buzzsaw tone, when I first heard Antiseen, it was like, man, just like, I don't understand what's going on. What's happening? This is so simple. How are they getting away with this? Why didn't I think of this? Everybody has this, why the hell didn't I think of this moment at some point in your life? So simple. So that being so crucial to the sound, when I was brought on board, being a fan myself, first and foremost, that is what I wanted to bring to the table. Like, I don't want to bring my own tone, and there's only so much I can do, playing style-wise. Everybody has their own biomechanics and whatnot, and the way you hear structures. But the tone is something that I can definitely do something about. And I know that, again, nothing on Russ, you had talked about, him having some issues generating the mighty Joe Young buzzsaw guitar tone. I guess maybe struggled with it on and off the whole time he was with the band. But really it all just starts with the equipment. Now Joe had the advantage of, in the early 80s, actually being able to get some of that vintage equipment. Now he had either a 73 or 74 Fender Twin Reverb, which was, I guess, the second iteration that came out after the 63. And there were some upgrades in the tone, upgrades in the electronics. The speakers were different. Now I don't know that he necessarily went into it looking for this tone. I mean, I've talked to you about it. You said, well, that was just the result. It's like, I knew what I wanted it to sound like. We set his shit up and we turned knobs until we got what we wanted it to sound like. But to generate that now with the newer technology and the newer equipment, this more modern music equipment, what they call upgrades, are really just shittier components that make it better for the profit margin on the companies that make them. So that was one of the things I struggled with after about 2 years. Just threw my hands like that. It's just the equipment. It's just the equipment. I did the best I could using what Joe had. Now the 74 Fender Twin Reverb, I don't think they ever reissued that. And when you can find even a decent quality one that still works, you know, they're in the thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
They reissued the 63, so I bought the 63 Fender Reverb, Twin Reverb. And the first conversation we had about this, we were talking about guitars, and after you brought me on board, you're like, you know, I'm not going to hold you to this, but, you know, the Telecaster is kind of the aesthetic. Now, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool, man, I'll get it. But I'm thinking, fuck, man. my only experience with Fender was Stratocasters.
Yeah.
I had one Stratocaster, and I absolutely hated that guitar.
Mm.
So I'm just assuming it's going to play just like that piece of shit did. No, night and day difference. Telecasters play like a dream. So I bought, you know, this modern Telecaster. It's a Mexican, with the Mexican manufacturer. Now the one that Joe has is an original United States manufacturer, which I guess he bought at some point in the 80s, huh?
He bought it off our friend Mike Cook, who was the original owner. Now, you know, here's the thing. I want to go back a little bit. You saying equipment. Now, see, I became the owner of the rig.
Right.
And I pushed for us to use it or parts of it, and he didn't want to do that, which I understand. And I don't know if I had sold it to Steve Wensil by that point. See, Steve Wensil is a collector of musical gear, and he wanted this stuff only because of its sentimental value. Because if we were selling it to someone who didn't know the Antiseen connection, it wouldn't have been like super rare stuff or anything. I mean, that amp probably more so than the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar was had paint stripped from it. It was aqua at one time, an aqua green blue.
Yeah, it's completely stripped down to the wood now.
Yeah, and but yeah, I sold the rig to Steve since it seemed like no one in the band wanted to put it to use anymore. I had no use for it, and so you plug that amp up with that guitar right now to this day using that same pedal, and it is the sound.
It is, and that's kind of what I was getting at when I finally just threw my hands up, because I've been chasing this tone. I mean, it's close.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very close.
Well, see, I always liked the idea of, whether it was you or Russ, bringing something to add to it. And what you added to it was adding that double, playing the Mesa Boogie rectifier.
Yeah, dual rectifier.
Dual rectifier. I really like the sound that gets, but I like it mixed with the twin reverb. And I thought you hit perfection with that sound when we did Great Disasters.
Yeah, it sounded really good on that.
And I really like it on Falls Count Anywhere too. And I'm gonna tell you, guitar freaks and Antiseen nerds, a little something, a little hidden fact. Some of Falls Count Anywhere was recorded using a Gibson SG, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or was it that Epiphone?
That was a Gibson.
The
It's
Gibson.
a 74 Gibson.
A Gibson SG.
Gibson SG with the...
Because the Gibson
mini
SG
humbuckers.
could get that feedback, which we're not trying to play at earth-shattering volumes to record, but he put it at a volume enough that SG will get the feedback on one. If you just stand in front of it, it's woo, it just starts swelling, and that's what we wanted. In order to get that from the Telecaster, we had to play at a deafening volume to where we couldn't hear the drums, we couldn't hear the bass, and so that's a fact for you right there that you can take to your Antiseen trivia contest with you, and that'll be one not too many people know unless they listen to Break On Through.
That's true.
Anyway, I
So,
didn't mean to go off track.
No, no. So yeah, I mean that was the it was the secondary guitar.
I really like the way that guitar sounds.
Yeah, it sounded fantastic with it, and it's also on the upcoming release, Antiseen Time Machine.
Yeah,
We used it on that too. I actually played the lead part in one of the songs with it. But getting to Joe's equipment, you know, when I finally just threw my hands, it was like, oh, okay. So these, I call the splattery mid-tone gurgle that Joe got. I have been chasing that damn tone for 3 solid years. I cannot dial that in no matter what I do with any kind of equipment. I'm using the DS1, the Boss DS1 pedal, which is what Joe used, the distortion pedal, the Fender Twin Reverb, and I'm using a modern Tele. But playing that rig, or playing his guitar rather, at the 40-year show, that's when I realized, like, oh, it is, that final element is the equipment. It was like trying to tame a wild stallion on fucking meth. That guitar is so freaking hot, and those are like, you know, the original pickups that are in it.
Yeah.
The single coil. I had to add a Seymour Duncan quarter-pound single coil in the bridge position, just to kind of get that tone going that I'm looking for, because they're manufacturing teles now for singer-songwriters and country guys, not so much for rock and rollers. I think is what's
well, it never was designed for that. Joe got his love of the Telecaster from being such an early Bruce Springsteen fan. And then Joe Strummer.
Was the only punk rock guitar player I can think of who ever
That used it at that point. I don't know
I
that
can't
one.
think of any.
I got a couple remarks and questions I want to get to right here. Wesley Dixon says he would just love to hold that guitar. Well, Wesley, I'm gonna tell you what. At year 45, I think we're gonna make that a reality because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't like harping on it, but when we did the year 40, you know, I felt so terrible. We had a place set up with our old red banner, which is now the property of Edward Braswell, aka Mondo. And we were going to take pictures of everybody behind it, but after that show, man, I thought I was going to projectile vomit.
Yeah, you just dipped out. It's like, what the
I just said, I can't do this. I got to go back there. And there were some people that came from Canada that were so disappointed, you know, and I took a picture with them backstage where the air was blowing and it was cool. But man, I'm telling you, but at 45, we're going to have a setup where you can come get your picture taken. We're going to have decent lighting, and we're going to have the rig, and we're going to let people hold the rig. I got to talk to Steve Wensil about it.
It's a great idea.
But
it's like going to Gatorland and getting to hold that.
Getting to hold an alligator. All right, that's Wesley. Brian Dunlap, feedback is underappreciated. Man, feedback, controlled or otherwise, is a important element to the sound of this band. When sound men would, and this has happened in the early history, the mid history, and even in current history today, they try to tell us to play at low stage volume, but we tell them we have got to be able to get feedback. Beginning, middle, breaks, and sometimes the endings of the song. We've got to be, because that's part of the sound.
There is a sweet spot on the Tele. It's about halfway between 4 and 5 on the volume, which is where it really picks up that Stuka dive bomber feedback tone. And that is also the sweet spot where they say it's too loud for all my shit. Well, yeah, you got to turn it down. And there's been a lot of times where that amp was completely struck from the house mix because it was too loud.
Yeah.
You know, they're, I guess, afraid to push their amps that much. You know, they're using all these powered speakers now, and they're afraid they're going to blow them up, I guess. Which is, you know, another benefit of having the Mesa up there, because they can mic that.
with Karis says he likes our Great Disasters record. Thank you. I'm going to tell you something about Great Disasters. I'm happy with it, but I was not happy with the process. I was so unhappy with the process that we're not doing it again. And that was recording drums first, all by themselves, then bass, then guitar, then vocals, then... I mean, it worked out good in the end because, you know, Walt joined before the record was even out. So we were able to... It was not a swipe against Russ, my brother Ward. It was just the fact that we were kind of sitting there going, so are we going to put out another record, push another record that is not the lineup that we are? And we decided no. And in his defense, Russ came to me with that idea on a plate, but I had already made that choice. But the fact that he decided, you know, it made me feel like it didn't seem like a sneaky thing. Not that I was doing a sneaky thing. Clinton Zilla wants to know if Might Makes Right and Mothman had the SG on it. I don't think you used the SG on it. The SG was used on False Count Anywhere.
I did use a Martin acoustic.
Yeah, a Martin acoustic plays along on Mothman especially.
I was going to touch on again on the equipment issue. A lot of folks hear me say I hate talking shop, I loathe it, but with this tone and some of the I think issues maybe that Russ was having. Again with an equipment issue. Now I know he went to he used a high watt, right?
Yeah.
Which was Joe's first or second. He had a crate first and then a high watt.
Yeah.
So
it was a high watt combo. 50 watt combo.
Okay, so see there you go, 50 watts. So Russ had the half stack high watt, which is, as I understand, is a 100 watt amp. And again, it's going to, you know, we're getting off in sound tech nerddom here. These breakups that you need for this kind of distortion, this buzzsaw tone, and the feedback we're talking about, that requires a 65 to 50 watt amp, which is the Fender Twin Reverb is, and Russ using that high watt being 100 watts with the with 6L6 tubes in it. There is a phenomenon called bass bloom. I know you were trying to get him to turn it up louder, but when he did, it would get bassier and bassier, and that was why.
Well, okay.
Because it was 100 watts, so the breakup wasn't as quick on the threshold, and then with the 6L6 tubes, power tubes, which are bigger and fatter, and as you turn them up in volume, it just expands the bass. So it's crucial to have the low watt amps. And my Fender, and I'm sorry, the Mesa that I use is selectable for 50 watt or 100 watt, and with you guys, I use it at 50 watts.
Oh, okay.
So you get that really crisp, bright distortion breakup with it. So it was hard to track all this down. I mean, I know, as I understand, I mean, Joe just fell upon this shit by complete accident. It's like, this is what I can afford, this is what I'm playing, this is what we're going to do. BS1's the cheapest piece of shit distortion pedal, that's what I'm buying.
Yeah,
so
that's the way it was.
I had to reverse engineer all this stuff, you know, and like follow this flow chart to figure everything out to get there.
I want to answer Mondo, and then I want to bring up something about someone who imitated Joe's sound. Mondo says, Jeff, you once told me how you were very fond of bleed through while recording. Do you still feel that way? I do. And if you listen to, when you listen to Time Machine, you're going to hear a lot of that because we recorded everything in the same room. And I love the way that record came out. I think all you that when it comes out, I think you're going to really love it as well. Do you remember the Antiseen tribute CD that came out first from Maloney Shrapnel?
Oh, the one that had Bootleg Bill on it? Even though he didn't do an Antiseen song.
Yeah, he had a song that mentioned her name in it.
Yeah, I've got that.
Jeff Martin who was in Buzz
Buzz
Crusher.
Crusher.
And you have to forgive me. I don't have this CD in front of me. I don't remember if Jeff was playing with Buzz Crusher when they appeared on that, or if he had another group, but they did NC Royalty. And Jeff was very meticulous about getting the right components in order to make their cover have the Joe Young sound, and they did that. I don't know, Jeff. I know Jeff's working a new job now. Maybe he's not on for Break On Through, but if you can comment on that here, you don't have to do it tonight, but maybe sometime during the week, people would love to hear that, how you came about doing it. I remember you explaining it to me in detail, but it would mean so much more coming from you. But he nailed it. He nailed it.
I have that.
And he used a Telecaster and a twin reverb.
Ah.
I think he used the same pedal. Everything.
I'll have to go back and listen to it. I've got it somewhere.
Okay.
Interesting piece of trivia, that split that Before I Hang did with Hellstomper on Baloney Shrapnel was originally supposed to be with Buzz Crusher.
They split up, didn't they?
Yeah, they got in some kind of huge fight, as I understand, and then that was the end of it.
I'm talking about the CD.
Yeah, that split CD Before I Hang did with Hellstomper.
No, lovingly known as the Green,
The green
CD.
CD.
Well, what the heck else do you want to talk about being the guitarist for the world's greatest rock and roll band?
Well, that's really all there is to say about that.
Well,
I'm the guitar player for the world's greatest rock and roll band.
but you got to understand, when we lost Joe, it was a real tough call whether we were going to hold auditions or not. People were calling, are y'all going to keep going? Yeah. Are you going to hold auditions? And we're just like, no. Because, all right, you know how many goofs we have that when we did hold auditions that just did not get, and I shouldn't even call them goofs, man. We're a real difficult fit. It's a real niche sound, a real niche thing altogether that it's hard to fit with. If you don't think, or at least have it in you to think the way we do about things, it would be a very, very difficult time in a band for you. And that doesn't mean politically or religiously or anything. That just means sonically, sound, recording, the way we write songs. People tell you, "Oh, well, that's not proper. You can't do." We don't want to hear none of that. I don't pay attention to any of that. And I always say, "It's not proper. I can't do that." But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm an Antiseen. I can do that. All right, and that's the way we do. And
Anti is in the name.
yeah, that's right. But I'll tell you what, if you want to come out and see what it's all about, what are they even talking about, this guitar tone and all? Well, you know what? On Thursday, the 6th, at Piedmont, South Carolina, at Tribbles. The 7th, at Star Bar in Atlanta with special guest Abdullah the Butcher.
Actually, we're probably the special guest there.
Yeah, we're the special guest. We're the special guest. And then Saturday the 8th in Fairhope, Alabama. Come out and hear. What did we decide on? What's your name now? When you're talking about wielding your axe.
Oh, the Mississippi Miter Saw.
Come and hear the Mississippi Miter Saw live and in person. Don't bring earplugs. They ain't going to help. Earplugs don't work against Antiseen. I notice a little flare and nothing's cool when you play. When you play it. Any other songs that you found that you... Oh, good to go.
That was a good one. she was in
They
here
had
too.
little things to during sets, bins, slides, everything. Did you see that?
Yeah, I do some things different. I mean, when I started doing this, I mean, one of the first things you told me was we're not looking for a Joe replacement. So, don't be afraid to put your
I think I said a
stamp
Joe
on
imitator.
it. A Joe imitator.
We were looking for a replacement because he wasn't there anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you want to argue about semantics, yes, so not a Joe imitator. So yeah, don't be afraid to put your own stink on it, I think is what you told me. Which,
That sounds like something I'd say.
yeah. It took me a while to get comfortable doing that. And I do things with it that I'm concerned about. It's like, man, as a fan, if I heard some other clown doing this, is this going to piss me off? So, but yeah, but to answer Clinton's question, I do play the harmonics differently, break up the structure a little, and I do use bar chords occasionally.
But I'm happy with the sound. And I hate to say it so arrogantly, but that's what it all boils down to. But I will tell you this, Walt, it's great having you on here. I can't wait to do this run of shows with you. And Malcolm and Mondo, Sir Barry Hannibal. But there's something I like to bring up. I haven't brought up the last couple of weeks, I don't think. But I would like to bring up now, and that is the fact that it's been over 100 days, and there are still parts of western North Carolina that look like they've just been destroyed yesterday. And I would just like to encourage you, if you would like to make a monetary donation, like Clinton, Zilla, you know where this is going, to help the people of western North Carolina. Now, I know the current administration has got in there. They got FEMA on a chain now, and they're making them do what they're supposed to do. But, you know, it's still 100 days, man. 100 days. Some people have been without power, no heat, no clean water. Come on now. That cat that threw a fit in the Oval Office the other day, I don't think that some bitch should get a single penny from this country again until western North Carolina has been completely restored. Restored!
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
$1 billion could put them back to where they're within 90% of what they were used to prior to that hurricane. Easily. Probably with some upgrades.
So, but we all try to do our part, especially the ones from here. But if you're not from here, or if you are from here and you'd like to contribute something, I mean, I'm telling you, when I say this, I mean it. I'm not, just saying it to hear myself say it. Anything you can give, $5, $10, $50, $100. Man, if you're so well blessed that you can give $1,000, go to encountertoday.com. There is a tab on there that says, to contribute to the people of western North Carolina. There's the link right there. Clinton Zilla has put it up, and you're going to hear me talk about this until it's fixed. I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to stop putting that link up, or having Clinton put that link up. Man, I'm telling you, they're getting them everything. The other day, we were talking to a fella at our church. Was talking to the congregation, telling us that they were buying 3-foot chainsaws. They're saying, man, we can't use those little ones anymore. We're talking 3 foot. They have still got trees that huge, blocking roads, destroying bridges, laying on people's houses and stuff, So there you go. So people, please, I would not endorse this church if I even thought for 1 second that we as American citizens couldn't trust them. I trust them with everything I have to trust them because I've seen the inner workings. I've seen the proof. The proof. See it. So, feel free to contribute knowing that you are helping. This is not like some fast food or some Target. Hey, would you like to round up and see that? I guarantee that money's not going anywhere close to where it's supposed to be going. So you don't have to worry about that with this. Please go to that link that Clinton Zilla has posted. Well, man, I don't know. I don't quite know what else to say. I guess it's about time to pack it in. We've been on here 45 minutes. It seemed like about 15.
Yeah, really.
I love having guests on here, man, because sometimes when I have to talk all by myself for 45 minutes. Yeah. Clinton says click on Hurricane Relief tab. And it'll take you directly to the page to donate. Thank you, Clinton. Well, hopefully in the next day, 2, 3, 4, you're going to see lots of great photos, lots of great videos of these next run of shows, man. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to sound cryptic or anything. I'm like, you guys sounding cryptic, but man, when you see us play, it's time for you to make this road trip to go see us. That's just all I can say. I'm not hiding anything. There's nothing coming up with some big thing of news. I'm just telling you, that's what needs to happen. So, Nick Stones wants to know if you got any tough guy platitudes. You want to go ahead and leave the audience with a nice tough guy platitude?
I don't collect them.
You don't?
I don't collect them.
Oh, okay.
That's why I put the damn page up. It's like, here,
Okay.
y'all put them on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have one for us?
No, it's not something that I just inherently do.
No.
Well, okay, how about, well, here's an easy one.
What's that?
Don't take my kindness as weakness. There are 2 wolves inside of me. They both got rabies.
I love that stuff.
I do too.
I mean, I get tired of it quickly, but I do love it.
And when you see it organically, but when you go to insert tough guy platitude on Facebook, there's a collection of them there that we can all safely laugh at, so we don't have to worry about this guy that's posting pictures of skeletons riding Harleys and talking about smoking big cigars.
But you do that. But you do that. Smoke big cigars.
I do,
Yeah.
but I ride a Schwinn.
Here, my main Katie After Dark, the DJ on Time Machine says, never complain and never explain. Good words to live by. Well, y'all, thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Little Coleman is excited like you would not believe that Walt Wheat is here in the Clayton Manor.
Oh, yeah.
He is bouncing off the wall. He's in bed right now, but
Well, he already wore me out. I didn't think I was going to have anything left for this.
I can't wait to. You know what? We'll probably do some go lives during this trip. So it'll be right here on the Antiseen page.
So we got to do a go live with Abby.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Someone just said, "Hey, someone film. Make sure you film us with Abdullah." Man, we're going to. See, last time we weren't prepared. We didn't know it was going to happen.
No, man, I was standing there talking to Megan Westcott, and I saw this guy go by with a walker, and I was like, you know, you do look a lot like Abby. She's like, well, he does live here. It's like, yeah, there's no way it is, though. So we get done talking, and I'm walking back down that hallway to the guest room. Then I hear his voice. It's like, holy shit, man, that was Abby.
Someone came in the dressing room and told us he was here, and we're just like, yeah. You know, bring him by if he's here. And then someone came, and then Malcolm stuck his head in the dressing room and said, Abdullah the Butcher is walking down the hallway right now. And I just remember standing up in the middle of the dressing room, straightening up, you know. And probably when he walked in and saw me, it's probably like looking like at Hannibal Lecter standing in the middle of of the cell. And we heard his voice, and Barry looked at me, and I looked at Barry, and we both went, it's him! And then he walked in, and then we kept our cool. Oh, hey, how's he doing? You know, so.
That's so surreal.
We're all big fans, and we are looking so forward to this. And, hey, thank you for coming and hanging out, listening to the news, not getting the blues. I'll see you next week. We'll see you during the week. And don't forget, I love you. God loves you, and we'll be talking to you soon right here on Break On Truth.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Walt Wheat.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot of fun.